Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited that today is finally the day I'm going to be packing for the Disney Magic at Sea cruise. So we are heading out on the 20th of July. We are actually doing back-to-back cruises, so we're going to be on for a total of 7 nights. I'm going to be showing you guys everything that I'm packing. Also, side note, I will be vlogging every single day, so make sure to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss my uploads. Usually I post on Thursdays at 7 PM UK time, but since I'll be on the cruise for 7 nights, I don't know when I'll be uploading. So if you make sure to hit the notification bell, you won't miss it when I upload. I'm going to aim for 2 uploads a week until all the cruise videos are done. We are also heading to the Hungarian Grand Prix and hopefully to Disneyland Paris as well within the next month. So make sure to stay tuned for all those vlogs coming very, very soon. Let's get straight into it. The first things I'm going to start by packing are all my clothing items. Now there is quite a lot. Bear in mind I'm on there for 7 nights. Most people, if you're not doing a back-to-back, maybe only on for 2, 3 or 4 nights. So it's going to seem like a lot, but just bear that in mind. So I'm going to start off with the very obvious things. Of course you need underwear and socks, so I've just gone ahead and put enough for 1 day each plus 1. From there I'm just going to add a bunch of regular tops to wear during the day. Some of them are a bit fancier, some of them are just very, very casual, but these are just the t-shirts I'll be wearing throughout the days. I then have a few pairs of jeans and a couple of skirts and some shorts. Now obviously since it's in the UK I have no idea what the weather's going to be like, so I'm kind of packing for every eventuality on the weather. It does say it's supposed to be sunny next week, but obviously that can't be guaranteed, so I just have a few different options for trousers, skirts and shorts, etc. Again, those are just the things that I'll be wearing throughout the day. I have some pajamas. Next up I just have some running clothes. Obviously that is a personal preference. We're going to continue to run while we're on the ship. They do have a gym and a running track, so I'm just going to include a couple of things for running. And next up I have some swimming costumes. So far I've added 1 bikini and 1 full swimming costume. Bear in mind on the ship there is a slide where the floor drops out from beneath you, so I decided it would be safer to have a full swimming costume in case I want to go on that, because I don't think a bikini would be the best idea for that. But obviously if you're not interested in going on that, bikinis are fine. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to be adding in clothes wise is a bunch of dresses and nicer clothes for dinner. Now it isn't compulsory to dress for dinner. You can kind of wear what you want as long as it's not like swimwear and stuff like that. But I'm just adding a few nice dresses and things like that because we've decided we will be dressing up for dinner at least a few of the nights. Also for like the stage shows and things, you might also want to get dressed up, or if you go to the piano bar in an evening, it's just nice to have some nicer outfits. It's very different to Disney. I would not do that in Disney World. So I have pretty much a dress for every night that will be on the cruise. I then have a couple of swimming costume cover-ups just in case I want to sit and sunbathe, sit by the pool, or don't just want to be wearing my swimming costume. So I've got a couple of those that I will be taking as well. I also have some fluffy slipper socks. I don't think these are overly necessary, but I know that I get cold feet and apparently there is aircon in the room, so I just thought that is something that I would take as well. I then have a couple of belts because all my jeans don't fit me. Obviously if you don't wear belts then don't take them. And last but not least for the clothes section, I have a couple of jackets and stuff. So I've got this big shirt, it's very thin, but if it's just a bit windy or a bit breezy on there, then that is something I can put over the top. I also am going to be taking my denim jacket. It can be worn in the evening or in the day, so it's very versatile in that way. I will also most likely be wearing a hoodie or a jacket on the day that we get on, so I'll also have that with me as well. And that concludes all of the clothes that we'll be taking. Next up, I'm just going to share with you guys all the shoes that I'm taking. So the first thing is just my running trainer. Next up, I'll just be taking my Vans. They're just something that I can wear around in general during the day until lunch and stuff. I then have a nice pair of sandals that I will be taking. Obviously you can take heels, I just hate heels, so I will not be doing that. But to be honest, my mum might take a pair, so we can always trade. I'm just going to take these. Also, they don't take up as much space in my suitcase. And last but not least, I'm going to take some flip-flops. These are great to wear by the pool if you're just nipping about here and there. Or if it's getting later, you want to just nip to get a drink, but you can't bother to put proper shoes on, then you can also just whiz these on as well. Also, I'll just be wearing regular trainers on the way as well, so I'll have in total 5 pairs of shoes with me. So I've just gone ahead and packed all of the shoes on top of my clothes. Next up, I'm going to be adding all of my toiletries that I will be taking. Now bear in mind, on the Disney Cruise Line in your stateroom they will provide shampoo, conditioner and body wash, and maybe body lotion as well. So those are things that you don't need to take. And they also provide for you obviously towels, and they have a hairdryer in the room as well. So those are things that you don't really need to take unless you really want your own specific one. Now I'll be taking my usual makeup bag. Bear in mind that they don't bother expert about liquids, so it doesn't actually matter if things are open or if they're in big bottles or anything like that. We've been on one before and we didn't have a problem. I will also be taking moisturizer, makeup setting spray, deodorant, hairspray, face wash, body spray, perfume, makeup remover, and these little makeup remover pads that are reusable. Toothpaste, I feel like that is easy to forget, so I've already gotten that ready. A toothbrush and a razor, a hairbrush, and hair curlers, or obviously if you like to straighten your hair straighteners as well. And last but not least, on toiletries, I'll be also taking a few bobbles. Now, even though I don't wear my hair up that often, I do like to wear my hair up for running, but also if you're on the top deck of the ship and it's kind of a little bit windy, it might just be nice to be able to tie your hair up if you have quite long hair like I do. So that concludes all the toiletries. Next up, I'm going to move on to electronics. So probably one of the most important things is to take travel adapters. So I have 2 of those. We are traveling with 4 of us, so I'm assuming the others might bring them too, but this is what I could find. Also, I will be taking my running watch and its charger. Obviously, if you don't run, then that's irrelevant, but that is something that might be forgotten. So if you are a runner and have a running watch, make sure to pack that. I also have a battery pack. In a second, I'm going to show you what I'm going to be taking on in like my day bag separately to my suitcase. I do have another portable charger in there, but I'm adding a second one into my main suitcase as well. I then just have one of these extra plugs which has a USB. I don't know why, it was just there, so I thought I'd add it. I then have my laptop charger. I have one of these things. Now, I'm not 100% sure if you are allowed to take these on. I've heard that you're not allowed to take full-on extension leads, but obviously this is a little bit smaller. It's just a port that has 5 USBs on it. I am going to take it, but I'll be asking when I arrive if these are allowed. If you're following the vlogs, I will let you know what they say about this. Or if you already know, please comment it down below if you are allowed to take these or not, but I'm just going to take it with me just in case. That concludes all of the electronics that will be going into my suitcase. We have almost done it, guys. I have a couple of other bits and bobs and then I'll be moving on to my day bag. The last little bits are, I'm going to be taking this little bag, which is like a night handbag, I guess. Now, obviously, when you're on the cruise, there's not really that many things that you really need to have with you at all times. But I just thought it's nice to have a little handbag to go out for tea if you want to put like your phone. Obviously, I'll be taking my camera everywhere with me, so it just means I can put that in this little bag and I don't have to worry about it. I then have a couple of plastic bags. These, I'm going to use one for my laundry and I'm going to use the other one for wet clothes. Now, obviously, if you're only going for a couple of days and you want to make the most out of swimming, it might be that when you leave, your swimming costumes are still wet, so it's always worth taking an extra plastic bag so you can put any wet clothes and stuff in order for you to be able to take it home without getting everything else in your suitcase wet. So that is definitely something that I would recommend for you to take. And last but not least, going in my big suitcase is a bunch of masks. I only have 3 right now because I need to go and locate them. I don't leave for another like 5 days yet, but make sure to take loads and loads of masks. Obviously, if you're taking the disposable ones, then you probably want 2, 3, 4 for a day. With these reusable ones, I'll probably just take at least 1 for every day and maybe 1 or 2 spares. That is another thing you need to make sure to remember. This is the finished product of this side of my suitcase. It's very messy, I am aware, but I've kind of just shoved everything in and then I will close it up. I'm now going to move on to things that are going in my day bag. There are some things that I won't be taking that I would recommend to take, so make sure to stay tuned to the end and I will read those out for you guys. Okay, so the first thing going in my day bag is my camera case and all my camera equipment. Obviously that is a little bit specific. If you're not into cameras or any of that, then you don't need to worry about that. But make sure to take your cameras, chargers, tripods, all those kinds of things if you are into filming or photography or anything like that. Next up is my laptop. Again, there will be no Wi-Fi on board, so there's not really any reason for you to take a laptop unless you need to work and buy the Wi-Fi and stuff. We will not be doing that. It's just that it means I can edit while we're on board, so I can try and get the videos out to you guys as quickly as I can. Next up, I'll be taking a water bottle. This is purely just so I can have something to drink from in the night and while we're traveling there on the day that we get on, just in case we're stuck in the waiting room for a while or anything, just so that I can have something to drink. Okay, next up is very important and I would definitely advise it, is to take some seasickness pills. Now, we've been on the cruise in the Bahamas before and honestly it wasn't too bad. I can't even say that we even took these, but it's just something, if you take it and don't use it, it doesn't matter. But if you don't take it and wish you had, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble. I would definitely recommend to take these. This is the brand we use and I would swear by them. We've been on some very rocky boats in my lifetime and these are definitely a lifesaver. So I would recommend to grab a couple of packs of these, obviously depending on how many people are going. And also they are suitable for children aged 5 and up. So if you have younger kids, make sure to read the packets and stuff, but they are suitable for children as well. Next up, I just have another case which has things like paracetamol, ibuprofen, it has hay fever tablets, it has plasters and all the different things like that. And also make sure to remember if you do have any prescriptions or anything to make sure to take those as well. I then just have a few more masks that I will be putting in this bag to make sure that I have at least 1 or 2 with me on that day. Next up, I have a pair of sunglasses. Not overly important, but it will probably be very sunny. There's no buildings to block things out when you're on the top deck, so I would definitely advise taking a pair of sunglasses with you. And a hat as well, especially if your parting gets burnt. Mine doesn't really, but maybe like a sun hat or like one of those cap things, you might want one of those too. Next up, I just have some tissues, not overly relevant to the whole cruise thing, but just they're a good thing to have with you whenever you go somewhere, especially for somebody like me. Next up, I have 2 packets of playing cards. There probably won't be a lot of downtime, but if you know somebody's in the shower, you're waiting for people to get ready, you can kind of just sit about and play cards or something like that. I then have the other battery pack that I mentioned earlier, so I'll be putting that in too. Make sure you remember the chargers for those if you do take them. I will also be putting a main phone charger in this bag just in case my phone does start to run out on the first day before we get to our stateroom. So something to add to this whole situation is, if you haven't been on a Disney cruise before, when you board, you can't go straight to your stateroom. It doesn't open for a few hours. So there are a few things that you will want to put in your day bag that you might need on the first day. For example, a phone charger. You might also want to put a swimming costume, especially if you have young kids that will be very excited to get into the pool. You might want to put a swimming costume into your day bag so that you can swim before you get access to your stateroom, because your suitcases will probably get taken off you as you board. So that's just a little something to bear in mind. If you're very interested in swimming, or you know you're going to want to swim on the first day, make sure to pack at least 1 swimming costume each into your day bag. Next up, I have a lanyard. This has just like all my Disney tickets and cards in it. Since we're silver members, we will get a silver lanyard when we get on, but just in general, I would advise to take a lanyard. You can put your key to the world card, if that's what it's called. It means it gets you access to things, opens your stateroom. I'm pretty sure you can charge things to it, so it's very useful to have a lanyard so that your key to the world doesn't go missing at any point. And it's very easy to access as well, rather than being in like a pocket or in a bag. Next up, I just have a pen. Not overly necessary, but obviously with COVID, you might not want to be using other people's pens. So if you have a pen with you, if you need to write anything down, especially when you arrive, then you will just have that handy. Next up, I have a notepad. Again, not overly necessary, but if you ever want to just write notes, or when we play cards to keep scores and stuff, that is something useful to have with you. Next up is my favourite thing ever. It's in a little case, and it's actually a collapsible, reusable straw. Now, obviously, if you're not bothered about using straws, then it's not important, but I really like using straws. So it comes like this, and you can literally just pull it out into a full-size straw. And I personally think it is the best thing ever. So if you are a straw user, I would recommend getting one of these because they are so cool. This specific one was from Aldi, but I'm pretty sure you can basically buy them all over the place these days. Next up is dollar bills. Now, I don't know if they're doing cash on this cruise, so don't quote me on this. This might be a get on and find out situation. Obviously, I can find out. If you want to follow the vlogs, I will let you guys know everything that I know as it happens. But for now, as far as I'm aware, you can tip the room service people $1 when they drop off your food. It is for the most part included, but a lot of people do say they recommend to tip $1 per item. So if you take a few dollar bills on with you, then you can make sure to tip the people that bring your room service. I only have 2 because that's all I could find, but we will probably head and get some more before we get on. I also have my usual little purse that just has like my cards and my ID and stuff in. Make sure to remember to take either your driving license or your passport, depending on what you used to check in. If you're under 18, I don't think you need that, but any over 18s definitely do need either a driving license or a passport, or one of the other forms of ID, which will be made available on the Disney Cruise Line website. I'm not 100% sure what they are. Next up, I just have my AirPods. Again, not necessary, probably won't use them, but if I'm editing and everybody else is in the room, then that's something bit more specific to me, but so that not everybody gets annoyed with me. We are so near the end. Next up is some hand sanitizer. It will definitely be very widely available on the ship, but this is more getting to the ship and then back home at the end, just in case, you know, go to a service station. I'm sure everybody carries hand sanitizer with them these days, but that's just a little something to remember. Even though it will be everywhere on the ship, there might be situations before and after you might want to have some with you. And basically, last but not least, is this folder. Now, you should have gotten one of these through your door. They are saying that not necessarily it will come, so this has inside it your luggage tags. So you will put this on your luggage as you arrive, and they will take your luggage and it will magically arrive at your stateroom a few hours later. So make sure if you do get one of these through your door to take it with you. If you don't worry, they will have them at the port for you ready. Another thing is, make sure to print off your port arrival form. I don't know, you can probably get away with having it electronically, but it does say make sure to bring it with you. So if you do have access to a printer, I would definitely recommend printing this off and taking it with you. And that concludes everything except obviously my phone. Everybody knows to take their phone with them. That concludes everything that I personally will be packing. So this is what my day bag looks like. It is very full of all the stuff I just put in it, but it's all stuff that is very necessary. So another couple of things that you might want to remember to take, I have written down, so I'll make sure to read those out for you now. The first thing is Disney ears. Now, we do have them. I will be taking some. I just can't find them and my mum isn't here. So once I locate those, I will be taking a couple of pairs of ears. I probably won't be wearing them all day because, to be honest, I never do. They annoy me after 5 minutes, but it is nice if you've got a couple of pairs to take pictures in them and different stuff like that. Next up is sun cream. We don't have any right now. We'll probably buy some before we get on, but if you are planning to sunbathe a lot while you're on, or be just sat in the sun in general, make sure to take some sun cream. It is forecast to be warm over the next few weeks, so if you're going on one of the Liverpools or one of the early August ones, it might be warm, or just in general, make sure to check the weather. But if it's going to be warm, make sure to take some sun cream with you. On the other end of that, if the weather's going to be really bad, you might want to take a thin jacket or a coat, like a raincoat or something, just in case it's raining. I don't think there are any parts where you have to go outside to get anywhere on the Disney Magic, but just in case, it's always good to have a raincoat with you if it looks like it might be raining. Next up is books. I will be editing in any free time I have, but if you think, oh, my kids will be playing in the pool or whatever, or at the kids club, and you might have some downtime to read, make sure to take some books with you if you are the type of person that likes to read. Same electronics and toys. We might be taking our Nintendo Switches with us so we can have some little games, especially if we've got bits where we're waiting around, and toys if you have kids, or just little bits and pieces to keep people occupied. That is another thing you might want to take with you. Another thing that I haven't mentioned at all is alcohol. Now, there is a limit on the amount of alcohol you can take. If you're over 21, I think it is, you can take up to 2 bottles of wine or 6 beers. It's very specific. They have to be closed, and you can't take random things. You can't take spirits or anything like that. If you are interested in finding out more, if you weren't aware of this, you can check it out on the Disney Cruise Line website, but just in general, you can take 2 bottles of wine or 6 small bottles of beer. If you are a drinker, that's something you can take, but bear in mind there is a corkage fee in the restaurants of, I think, $25 per bottle, so you have to be prepared to pay that unless you want to drink it back in your stateroom. Another thing that you might want to take is clothesline pegs to hang up your swimwear. Now, we've decided that ours are big enough that they can just hold themselves up. Obviously, if you have small kids with very small swimming costumes, you don't want them to get blown away if you hang them on the balcony or anything like that. So you might want to take some clothes pegs with you just to secure things on so they don't get blown away. Another thing that you might want to take is sweets for the cinema. You can go to like Cabanas or wherever and grab something to eat, and I'm pretty sure you're allowed to take it to the cinema, but they also do sell things nearby the cinema. I think they sell popcorn and sweets, but you have to pay for them separately. So if you're a cheapskate like me, or you just want specific things, then make sure to take either popcorn or sweets with you. You are allowed to take those on as far as I'm aware. Next up is glasses or contacts. I don't personally wear them, but if you do wear glasses or contacts, I know they're an easy thing to forget, so make sure you take those with you. A very important thing to take with you is your travel insurance documents. Mine are all on my phone, so I don't need to worry about that, but if you do have like a travel insurance card or like a letter, make sure to take that with you just in case. And last but not least is door magnets. Now, we haven't sorted this out yet, but in the next 5 days, hopefully we might be able to locate some. You are allowed to stick things on your door. All the doors are magnetic, and also most of the walls are magnetic. So if you want to take some door magnets to decorate your door, then you are very welcome to do that, and a lot of people do that. Also, it means if you have kids, it's a lot easier for them to find your door. If they know what floor you're on and they're lost, they can just wander up and down until they find the door with all of your magnets on it. So that is also very, very useful thing to take with you. That concludes everything that I will be taking with me on the Disney cruise. There may be things that I've forgotten. If there's anything you can think of that I haven't mentioned, make sure to leave it down below in the comments. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a massive thumbs up. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss any of the vlogs coming very, very soon. There will be at least one for every single day that I'm on the cruise, coming as soon as I can get them out to you. And other than that, I'll see you next time with a brand new video. Bye!